everyone, George here. It's been a while since I've actually sat down and worked on this series. I've made progress in different areas. I didn't record some of it, unfortunately, but yeah, I'm kind of back into the environment bug. That is, I kind of want to have some place the setting actually kind of produced. So I'm going back through and I'm trying to figure out where I left off. I had mentioned in a prior video that unfortunately, due to a corrupt file in Maya, I did lose quite a bit of work, notably what I had done with the stage. And then I believe in some of these other areas, the kitchen, I completely lost all that stuff. So I've got to bring all of those files back in as well. But rather than labor over those areas that I've already done, I think in this video, I'm going to jump over into the bathroom and we're going to finish up all of this and bring it into Substance Painter. All right, so it actually looks like I don't have any of this content completed. So that's great. That means I can actually do this and not worry about doubling stuff up. So what I want to do is take out some of these assets and bring them into Substance Painter and get them painted up. Unfortunately, some of them just were never finished, such as the urinal right here. Now, I actually don't like how I cut this stuff up beforehand. You'll notice I've got a huge seam going right down the center. That's going to be really bad. So why don't we go ahead and UV planer, come at this from the Z axis, hit apply. And what we're going to do is cut the back of it off, I think. And let's see, let's right click here, edge. And I think, let's see, it looks like this kind of intersects right there. And I can go across the back there and we can go down along there and that will expose the backside open. And I think there should be a similar groove somewhere. Actually, wait a second. I'm trying to look. If I remember correctly, this model is actually flawed. I need to fix it really fast. So you'll notice that over here in these corner pockets, there's kind of something weird going on. And that's because when I had done a fuse, see right here, they kind of came together and it pulled this part out and just kind of messed everything up. So actually, let's where's the toilet itself? Let's grab this and there's urinal, and let's display, hide unselected objects. That's good. Let's work with that. So now we can just work with this thing. So we've got the body, the valve, and the piping itself, and I'm hoping that we have transforms for things in proper locations. That transform should not be there. So let's DV that to the bottom, and then probably DV this over somewhere around there. And that's probably going to be a good spot. Now, is that actually sitting on top? No. We can see we've got issues with the geometry right here. This part in the back where it's kind of bending down should really probably go back up. It should be flattened out. Same thing with this entire row right here, or at least part of it. So why don't we come at this from the side? Frame on up. Wrong side. This side. There we go. And we are going to unselect all of this region here and this. And I'm just going to try to draw this up and flatten it out to there. Let's see. Now, to me, that looks like it's going much higher than it actually should be. So what we're going to do is, that's not what I want to do. We are going to unselect this part and this part here. And then we're going to flatten that out. Is that going to work for me? Looks like it. And then I'm going to flatten it to there. And I'm going to do the same thing with this backside. Flatten that out. And then I'm going to flatten it to the next one. And then we're just going to manually go in now. I think let's have our mirror settings on. So let's go to symmetry settings. Symmetry in the X-axis. And it looks like we're good. And now I'm just going to tweak these manually. Let's go ahead and just try to fix a few of these. Actually, you know what? I'm going to V-snap that. I'm going to V-snap this one to there as well. And that should improve flow a little bit. And then you can go there. All right. I'm happier with that. Now let's try to handle whatever's going on in these corner pockets. And there's actually something going on right here too. You can see the UV seams that get generated. So something's not connected properly. So let's go to X-ray mode and get a better idea of what's happening here. So it looks like we've got this piece of geometry here pulled inwards for some reason. So let's try to fix that. And actually, I can see already what happened. It looks like it doubled up on itself, and there's now an opening in that geometry right there. So we're going to have to fill that in. So let's try to let's turn off X-ray now. And I want to try to do this by eye here. Now, actually, what I think I'm going to do is grab these two merge vertices and merge them to the center. And I think that will fix things a little bit for me. So hold on. So let's raise that up. And we slide that over here. And then slide this back out. Maybe like to there. Okay. Now we do have this kind of nasty geometry going on, and I'm looking at what I have going on, and I'm wondering if I even need some of these edge loops. Like this one right here that ends in a triangle seems like it's just giving me more headaches than it is helping me. So let's go ahead and get rid of those. Reduce the geometry anyway, why not? And now let's deal with these guys here. So let's just make sure it is selecting on the other side. Everything looks fine. And let's start manipulating these guys. So you are going to come in, and you are also going to come in. And that should help out tremendously with the sharp edges that we have right now going on. Now, I'm wondering about whether or not this is even necessary. So that's better right there. And let's see. Let's grab the whole thing now, go to mesh display and do a soft and harden edge. And let's just see what we got now. Let's turn off wireframe on shaded. And okay, so we've got still some problems, but I think we should be able to fake it just by doing soft harden edges and changing this to say 45. And that's already helping out a lot. There's still some problems right down in this little groove right here, but we can go in there and manually select them and just, let's go to mesh display, soft edge. Actually, let me, yeah, we're gonna go in here and grab this stuff manually and then just soft edge. Actually, I'm trying to think. I think the whole thing can just be soft edge. So let's do that. Modify, soft all the edges, soften. And you know, there's a little bit of some strain going on here, but overall it's okay. Just trying to see if there's anywhere I can get rid of detail that might be making this worse. Like for instance, this entire edge loop right here, if I get rid of that, that's going to connect those two pieces together a little bit better. And what about like this one here that causes a triangle to be formed? If I get rid of that one as well, that might help out. Now there's so much excess detail in some of these regions. I really wonder how much, if I can get rid of any of this. Like this one, yeah, especially in the center region. Actually, let's do this one and get rid of those two. There we go. So that's probably a couple hundred verts gone. I mean, the same thing can be said about these side ones here. I can probably get rid of, you know what, I can't. That one goes right into there. That's a good one to keep around, but I probably can get rid of this outer one right here without causing too much of an issue. And then what about you, sir? Now you are part of the lip. Let's see what happens if I get rid of you. That does get a little bit harder, doesn't it? What about this one here? Now this one loops all the way in and under and around. And I'm thinking, what about you? That's the one is that the one with the lip that I just saw? No, it's a different one. And then there's this piece here. What happens if I get rid of you? And yes, I know I'm doing basically decimation myself when I probably could have the program do a better job at it, but just trying to figure out. See that loops, look at that loop right there. I really don't like that one. So we're gonna just trying to simplify things. Now we are getting some severe stretching where the triangles really are going, maybe that was a bad idea. At least that cuts them up. If anything, yeah, I think we're going to leave that. And what about back here? So some of these have to be unnecessary. So we're going to get rid of that, I think. You know what? That's good enough. So once again, let's just go to mesh display and soften everything. I want to save it. We can close that. And now let's actually do the UVs on this object. So we can right click Well, hold on. First, let's go to UV planar. Come at this from the Z-axis, and we don't want best plane, so let's change that. So there we go. Close. I do want to take a look really fast and see if those problems that we saw before are still there. I don't see any of those problems, so it looks like that all figured itself out. Now we can go back here and select these parts here and cut things out. So I believe, let's see, what would be the, I can cut here, 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 and here, and that will remove the entire back side of this. So I can do a cut, and now we've got the two UV shells. We've got the back, which is pretty much worthless, and we've got the front. Now the front is going to need to be unfolded. Now let's check out our transforms before we do anything. So where's my channel box? Attribute editor, there we go. So it looks like we're fine on all counts. So we'll edit, delete by type history. I am just going to do that modify freeze transform, but this time we're only going to do rotation and scale. I'm going to do that to the actual urinal object itself. See how it's got a scale of 11 right there? So modify freeze transforms as well. That should also do it for everyone else, so I should be good to go. And now let's figure out how we're going to stretch stuff out. So let's go ahead and unfold the back and then let us orient that as well. And I'm going to flip this around. Come on. No, come on now. Let's turn on my tools. Where are my tools? Oh, you know what? Let's see. Actually, I don't want the checker map. I want shaded so I can see both sides of this thing. And let's show the UV toolkit so I can see what's going on here. And I want to flip this thing around. So we're going to go to, I believe, transform and let us rotate this. So here's rotate, bam, bam. We're good there. Now we can come to this thing. And I'm trying to think how I want to cut this up. So if we just take this as is and unfold it, that's what we get. And if we go to our checker map on this and take a look at the distortion, it is porcelain, so it's not going to show up that much. So I am tempted to leave it as just one solid object like this. However, it does look as though I could very easily help out by making a few cuts, such as here. Yeah, I think that will do a lot to help relieve. It'll disconnect these two halves. So let's unfold that. Actually, that didn't do anything. Wow. Okay, so I guess all of the real problems are inside. So let's go to view and turn on UV distortion. Yeah, see, they're internal to the object. And unless I really cut into it, I'm probably not going to have much of a chance of relieving that stress, so to speak. I could, let's see. Should I call it stress or should I call it strain, actually? Let's do a cut now here on this object. UV shell and unfold. And I'm interested in seeing, so that did some good right there. That helped out, got rid of some of it in there. I don't think there's a whole lot I can do to get internal to this thing unless I actually physically make a cut. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to introduce a seam into this thing if it's not necessary. Now, if I go back, did that really help out? That's the question. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of difference, so we're going to keep it. I'm going to orient this. That's a horrible orientation. Let us rotate this thing 90 degrees, something like that. Actually, you know what? Let's turn off the UV distortion, and I'm going to just play with it by hand. I want to get close here. Actually, I'm also going to turn off shaded so I can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to get close to this grid, and it's very hard to see the grid. I should probably change my grid colors. Let's zoom in a little bit more and just tilt that ever so slightly. That's a little better. Okay. All right, and what I am going to do is shrink this piece down because the back really doesn't need a whole lot of space. We can grab both of these now, and I'm trying to think if I should just stick everything on one texture. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So for right now, I can actually keep both of these. Let's shrink it down a little bit. Now let's handle these parts up here. Now, when I go to do the layout, I'm probably going to have to undo everything I just did, but it's all right. You know, really, this edge should be beveled. And that's probably good enough. Now let's go ahead and do a cylindrical. No, not cylindrical. I just usually use planar. So let's just do planar in that direction. Save really quick. And then all I need to do is make a cut on this side. And it looks like what was I doing? Is actually what it looks like. What the heck was I thinking? So we're going to do this. Do a cut there. UV shell, break that off. And then we're going to need to do a cut along the backside up into the cylinder. So then we'll find, say, that seam right there. That goes all the way in. And I don't need that there. We can do the cut here because when I do this and unfold it, it should flatten out just fine. Orient that as well. Now I just need to cut the tip of this off. So we're going to grab all of this now, and I will do a create UV shell. And now I should be able to grab both, unfold and unfold, and really this should be redone. So let's do a planar from the x-axis now. And that looks good. And let's grab all of that, unfold, unfold, and let's also do an orient. And while we're at it, why don't we go ahead and lay this out? And I don't need to do 4. Let's just do 3 packing iterations, preserve, 3D ratios on, allow rotations, and hit a, let's see, texture map size. Let's go with 2048, hit apply. Oh, we have no padding. That's a problem. So shell padding and tile padding. I'm going to put a padding of 6 pixels and tile padding. We don't need to worry about tiles. So this should separate things out a little bit better for me. Let's just zoom on in and see. See, we've got some space now between each of those. And that's good. So save that and hit F8. And actually what I'm saving, let's go and make a new save document. Whoops. I just did an increment and save. What did it do? Underscore 05 underscore 0001. Yeah, I hate that. We're actually gonna, can we delete that now? Let's just do 6. Okay. Now we'll do this very similar thing for this. Let's just do UVs planar. Come at this from the, doesn't really matter, Z or X axis. And now we can do some cuts here and there. Now even this looks like it could have used a bevel here and there. See, like right there and right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, we got rid of a lot of extra geometry on the other object. So I'm just gonna assume we can do this. Let's go to mesh display, soften, harden edges. We'll also do a 45 on this. That looks okay. Maybe that's a little hard right there. So actually let's go to mesh display and increase this to 60 and hit apply. And that's better. Now all we need to do is just cut this thing up. So that's going to be pretty easy. I'm just going to go into each of these areas where there's going to be seams and make my cuts. And this is going to be one giant front plate, so I don't need to do anything. So we'll do our cuts on that. I should now have plenty of shells to work with over here. Pull that out and then just start pulling each one out. I'm going to have to come at them from a different direction when I'm working with them, but it's fine. So they're all good. We can take them and we can try to unfold them, but some of them I know, oh, they actually did come along for the ride. All right. And then orient them. That's an interesting way of doing that. What I am going to do is probably, for all the cylinders, come at it from the bottom, like here and here, do a cut. And then with those two being cut, we're going to unfold them, and now they're perfect. Orient. Almost perfect. Okay, we've got this next piece here. Same problem. So we're just going to go in here and make some cuts. There and there. Do cut. And grab our UV shells now and unfold them. And it looks like we've got something strange going on the inside of this. So let's grab our faces. And I wish it would do an auto. Yes, I know we can go over here, but I hate how long it takes to go into this stupid setting and go selection constraint, angle, 5. We'll just do 1 degree. And we'll leave that on and see if that actually helps out my workflow. Okay, so that's good. So actually, let's take this too. Let's see if we can unfold that. Nope, did not like that. So we're going to come at that with a planar in the x-axis on that object. Scale that on down a bit. And all we need to do now is insert an edge loop. And I'm going to do this on the bottom, here and here. Right? Is that good enough? We'll do cut and unfold. There we go. Orient. Let's just grab all these and move them off to the side because they're done. And now we need to do this top piece up here. So we'll cut it there, 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 and there, and there, there, and there probably. And there, there. Okay, that's a lot of good cuts. So let's do that and get these shells out of here. So this one can come off. This one can come off. So can this one. And there should be... Nope. Okay. Let's go ahead and unfold these and see what happens. Good. They unfolded just fine. So those are just going to be rings. So they're finished. And now we have the actual cylinders. And these cuts, of course, are going to be on the back side so that we hide it. And let's see. We don't want our seams visible. We're going to do cut now. And each of these, not you, but you and you, can now be unfolded and oriented. Move you off to the side as well. And now, actually, you need a cut too, don't you? With how you are. So we'll do a cut on you too. And where are you? Okay. Orient. Move that over there as well. And then we've got this piece here, which has the cut on the bottom, which if we try to unfold, I guarantee you there's an inside to it, which yes, there is. So now we're going to go into the inside of it and delete that part. Now I'm not sure. Oh, I know what that is. Okay, we're going to unfold. Uh-oh. Something about non-manifold geometry. Okay, so we're going to undo what we just did because it only got rid of the UVs. It didn't get rid of the actual faces. So let's go in here, grab these faces, come over here, and then hit delete. Now we'll grab this UV shell and unfold that. It still says this is non-manifold geometry. So there's something going on with this. So let's see what we can do. Let's go to mesh, cleanup, and fix by tessellation. Non-manifold geometry, hit apply, close. Now let's see what we can do. If this doesn't work, we're just going to do a planar from the Z-axis, hit apply, and then just make our cut. Cut, and unfold, and there we go. So that's it. We can orient that too, move that off to the side. And now we got this little guy. What, little ring, and then we could have another little ring. Where's that other? Okay, so let's just unfold this, and I didn't like that, so we just, of course, come at this again from the X-axis now, close that, scale her down a bit, get her off, and what are we doing now? We got this bit, which is easy. Let's see if there's an inside. There is. So let's go ahead, and can I just do this? Two faces, contained faces, and hit delete. And I don't need to do that because I still have the, what's it called on? So we're going to make a cut there, I think. And then we are going to, so instead of the bottom, we're going to do the back side of this one. Do a cut there and unfold. Bring that off. Grab this entire thing, and I'm just going to do an unfold in general on it, and then I will splice it up right now. There and there. So we'll do cuts, grab it all, unfold, unfold, and we will take these tube parts like that, or these holes, move them off, and we will take this now and make a cut there. And unfold that, orient, and move that off to the side. Making progress. I'm doing pretty well. Not much left. And let's see, we've got this bottom piece, and that's just going to be easily fixed by coming in from the Y-axis. Moving that off to the side. Now really, I should grab everything that I've done so far, and just to make sure, do an unfold on it, and then an orient. That's better. Because I think some of these pieces I was just letting stay cut when I should have been Should have been doing other things. So I can, if I want to, I mean, technically I can do this, or I could do the cuts here and let this unfold out. Let's see what that ends up looking like. Now I'm probably going to end up with some buckling on the object because of this choice I've just made. But let's take a look first and see what we get. So let's do a cut and unfold. Yeah, you can see how it's a little squirmy. Let's do an orient on that, and then I'm going to do an optimize. And actually, let's do, can we do a, where is, I want to straighten the UVs. So let's grab all the UVs now, do a straighten. Straighten UVs. And then, you know, it's probably better for me to go back in time and not do that cut and just come at it like I have been with everything else. It means I'm going to end up with more seams between everything, but so long as I'm careful in Substance Painter and I know, and I use the proper stuff, I shouldn't really have an issue here. Should be a non-issue. Let's see, I'm at the backside, and that means I'm going to need to, anywhere there is a cylinder, which is here, here, and here, and here, here. Actually, that one I'm just going to fan out. Let's make cuts along those. Let's just grab everything really quick because I'm getting lazy, and unfold. And then from there, we're going to fix stuff. So I need to slice things up here and here. So let's make those slices. We'll do a cut, UVs, unfold, unfold. There we go. Let's just grab all this stuff. I'm going to unfold again, and let's do an orient as well. And I'll grab these two because they're definitely done. I can grab all these rings. They're definitely done as well. And let's see, now I've got this big old thing, and the question becomes how do I want to do it? It's a big object, and I don't want to introduce too many seams, so I'm probably going to do it like this. Make a couple cuts there, unfold the whole thing right there, and then you can see this tube wants a cut, so we'll give that a cut right there, and we will unfold you and orient you. There we go, move that off, and now we've got this tiny little piece right there. So if I now why is that, why are they so tiny compared to everything else? Let's scale them up really fast. So that's this piece, and I could in theory do this if I wanted to. Oops. Does that have a bottom? This has a bottom, and it doesn't reach all the way, which makes it even better. So let's sink that in. Grab these faces. Delete them. It's probably going to complain about non-manifold, whatever. Yep, that's fine. Now, see, I'm kind of breaking my convention right now that I've been going through this entire thing, but I'm kind of interested in just seeing what happens here. So yeah, those are just going to kind of awkwardly come out, and they're not going to straighten out very well. Now, what is this ring? Now, that's that ring right there. I'm going to assume that things end up okay in Substance Painter for right now. We're going to let them be. Although I really think I'm going to do this instead. And this, we're just going to do that. All right, so now that I got all those pieces done, we're going to grab everything. We need to get them in the same UV packed space, but we also need their 3D ratios to be preserved. And we're going to hit apply. All right, Now you can see some issues here. Because I have so many cut circles, they're taking up some space, and you know, not the best thing in the world to do necessarily. But it's like either I introduce a lot of distortions on some of these straight pieces because these parts are going in and out and I let them tag on, or I straighten them and I get more distortions in another spot. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's kind of a, well, let's see what happens actually, because this is one of the few times where I've actually cut up a cylindrical object this much. Usually I just kind of let the distortion stay in there. So we'll see what occurs. Now I'm going to grab all of this stuff, and we're going to also go ahead and not unfold. We are going to lay this out together really fast. And let's hit apply. Kind of interested in just seeing how small some of this stuff gets changed to. All right, things are looking okay so far. Not really seeing anything. Now, what's really going to change is when I introduce this into the mix. So this is very big. So I'm going to, but it's only porcelain. So I am going to shrink this down, but I'm going to manually do this. And this backside, I'm also going to shrink down as well, because you will not see it. Now let's grab everything. And you know what? I need to grab all of this stuff. So let's get them in reference to each other first. Let's do a layout. Oh, how do I want to do this? Let's do a layout UVW. We will preserve 3D ratios first and see what happens. Okay, so now we got a big issue. So that was with preserving 3D ratios. Now we're not going to preserve 3D ratios. I'm going to assume that this is the size that it is going to be. We're going to take the rest of everything else and we're going to shrink it down, back way down. And we're going to grab all this and this. And what I'm going to do is actually scale up this stuff. And now we're going to do preserve UV ratio instead and hit apply. We're going to see if we get a little bit better packing. Okay, not great still. Let's take you and move you off. And I think I actually didn't make any changes by doing that. I think I misunderstood what that tool is actually doing. So I'm going to scale this up, grab everything. We're going to turn that off and hit apply. We're going to see whether or not it starts putting some of these UVs outside of the 0 to 1 space. So no, it didn't. It was actually able to fit everything very nicely inside of this object. Yeah, I don't really have any problems with this. This is a pretty good utilization. So I'm going to save this. And we're going to export this out to Substance Painter now. So let's go ahead and grab the urinal. Once again, edit, delete by type history, just to make sure everything's okay. File, export selection. Oh, what is the material we have associated with this object? That is a question. So let's go over here. So we have urinal. Do I not have a material in this object? Looks like I do not. So let's right click. Assign new material. Now, Unity has a new material type that I'm not familiar with, and it's an Autodesk one. So I'm really tempted to change my workflow, but I don't think I'm going to do it in this example. After I explore it, maybe we'll jump into it. For right now, I'm just going to set this up as a Fong. We'll call this urinal_m, enter, save, and we'll export that out. So file. Send to export selection. Let's go to Substance Painter. So SP, FBX. So we have a urinal. So at some point I had done this. I just can't find any record of it. Or I can't find anything that actually works. Something got corrupted, which sucks so bad. I hate losing work. It immediately puts me out of wanting to do anything. Let's see, new version of Substance Painter is available. No, we're not going to upgrade right now. So let's go to File, New. We're going to do 2048. We're going to do a PBR Metallic Roughness, select, and let's find, let's see, that's the project that I just finished. So we are going to Speed, YouTube, reproduce it, FNAF, SP, FBX, Urinal. So 2048, DirectX is fine, and we're going to hit OK. All right, so before we do anything, let's just take a minute to take a look at the object and make sure there's nothing that is going to be a really big problem. I'm not seeing any seams. I'm not seeing any gross oddities at the moment, so that's good. I believe I sunk the back of this into that object. Now we do actually have a problem right there on the rear of the object. So let's go back into Maya and take a look at what's happening there. And it looks like, what does it look like? If I do this, do I have more than one object selected? Let's turn off our mirror. So symmetry, off, and let's just grab one of these verts. You see those two are not connected, so that's the issue. So we're going to grab both of these, merge to center. I'm going to undo that actually. What just happened? Merge to center. Why is it selecting both of those? Did I turn on the wrong thing? I have symmetry off, correct? Yes. I'm going to reset this tool. All right, so with that, it looks like my normals are okay. Let's just do a soft on this again and do another re-export. So I'm glad I caught that because that would have caused a kink when I bake all the maps. So let's go to export selected. Come on. And Urinal, save, Substance Painter. I wish there was is there an update? Let's see, settings. No, is it project configuration? Yes, select the model. I want to select this one again. There we go. Ah, much better. Okay. And I think we're good to go now. So let's go. The first thing we got to do is go to texture, set settings. We're not going to need an emissive map or anything like that. Let's just go to bake mesh maps. And technically we don't need to bake a normal. We don't need to bake an ID. Let's see, what is it giving me crap for ambient occlusion for? This baker allows you to extract. That's fine. And we're just going to bake it anyway, because yes, we could go into Maya and make a higher poly version of this, but I think it's good enough. I don't think we need it. Okay, so here we go. So you can see some of the ambient occlusion and the little gaps here and there. So that's coming across kind of nice. Let's, we need porcelain for this main part. So go to our layers and pour ceramic porcelain. Let's add that as a fill layer. That's filling everything. Now, why does it have that stripiness to it? I'm guessing my scale is bad. So UV projection, I'm going to go to triplanar projection. Yeah, I'm not liking that at all. Was there a... I'm not going to introduce height maps. Line intensity, I'm going to crank that way down. Porcelain roughness. How rough is this? I almost feel like if I'm going to have that line in there, I'm going to want it to be so that's way too high. So what about up there? It feels too bright. So let me increase the roughness a bit. It's not exactly, it should not be a mirror. And I am going to push this up a little bit. And I think I'm going to take this to the blues. I don't know why, but I feel like blue is a little tiny bit of blue is better. Okay, we're going to go with that for right now. What we don't want to have happen, though, is have this interfering with some of the other layers. So we're going to go to add a white mask, and then we will do a selection on the UVs. Let's see, actually, we want to do black. Then we want to do object selection. So we're going to do all of this really right up here and that. Okay. Now, technically it's a toilet, so there's probably going to be some sort of a stain inside of here. So let's take a minute and think about this. Let's take a look at our smart materials and see what we can do with that. Well, actually, we don't want to use we want to use the smart masks, don't we? So if we do material, and let's just do, we have anything with dirt, sulfur, steel hard, old distressed what? Wood, copper oxidized, canvas white. What if we did, rust is sort of a go-to. I use it probably too much, but I think I can tone it down. So obviously, yeah, that's a hell of a toilet right there. But what we're going to do is we're going to use a smart mask, and let's do ground dirt. And let's come back here really quick. And let's see, what do we have here? We're going to do triplanar, and we're going to come to scale. I think I want to increase that scale a bit, but this is way over the top. Way, way, way over the top. First of all, I want the color to not be poop. If anything, I want it to just be slightly discolored. And I'm going to push this to the yellow, I think. Just because I imagine it gets pissed on a lot. So, and then we're going to go in here now and tone down. Oh, see, so check out how much of the, we got to tone down the normal map and the roughness map. So let's go to the normal map, and really crank that down. And let's go to the height map. We're also going to crank that way down as well. And all I'm trying to do is introduce a little tiny, tiny, tiny bit of something different. It's been used a lot over the years by lots of kids. So, you know. Let's see. Okay. I almost wonder if is there like a, kind of introduce a roughness to it that's going to add streaks to the surface. That might be an interesting one to do. The more I look at this, the more it just seems to be a little too bright. I want to crank this down a little bit. And that might just be the roughness. So let's see, if I crank the roughness up way high, that's not doing anything for me. Yeah, it just seems too bright. I'm going to crank that intensity down as well. Yeah, I don't want height doing anything there. What are the technical parameters for this? You've got contrast, you have luminosity. And actually, you know what? I'm liking that better. Okay, now I think we're ready for some sort of a metal. I don't like the standard aluminum. We need to go to materials, don't we? So what I think I'm going to do is we're going to do metal. And I like it where like the metal is grinded or it's got something going in it. This is powder coated. That's iron pure, iron raw, iron damaged. I think iron raw might be a good one for us to go with. So come on, new layer. Now that is a bit, should probably be brought up a little bit, shouldn't it? And trying to think about roughness. I mean, those are very reflective, so I am going to bring that roughness down a bit. Now, I don't think scale is going to matter too much with something like this. Now, I do have, it looks like there are some small little defects here and there that are coming through. You know what? Iron might really actually be wrong. Let's try aluminum. So that's got, is that more of a yellow or a gold? What is my environment? That's what we need to look at, actually. Let's see, that's under environment. Let's do, something that I can tell what's going on. You know what? We're going to do a studio lighting, I think. Ooh, that one's harsh. I think I need to use a location just so I get a better sense. But I don't want those colors to be influencing me, which is kind of why I want to do just a light in the scene. That's a little too extreme. Can we do, what is this one? I like that. That's going to help me out, I think. Okay, so now we can come in here. We've got our roughness, which should be pretty low. And we've got nothing going on. Oh, we got a little, there's a little bit of something going there. And I think that's okay. We might want to introduce a little something into the cracks and crevices on this, but let's first add a black mask and start selecting the parts that are actually going to use this, which are all of these ones up here. And let's do, I want to do another rust. I know. And we are going to do a smart mask on this as well. And I want something that will do the crevices. So let's take a look. So we have rust ground. I don't really want small cracks. Let's see what that does. No, I'm not really enjoying that. Old paint. No. How about occlusion? That is good, but it's way too intense, obviously. So we are going to go into our normal, crank that way down, our height, crank that way down, and then just generally in our base color, we're also going to crank all that down as well. And you know what? Roughness too. I don't want it to be messing with the roughness channel that much. Let's go to the mask editor really fast, and I'm going to blur it a little bit. Let's see, let's go to something like that maybe. And okay, now that I have a better sense of the colors, I am going to now go into my into this and put in a background that I actually understand, so I can kind of see how it's influencing different parts of it. And I think it's okay. Yeah, I think we can work with this. All right. So anyway, that's going to be our toilet. And yeah, let's save this. Urinal. It looks like, oh, it's the wrong project once again. So YouTube, reproduce it, FNAF, SP, saves. I didn't save the urinal, so I actually never, it looks like I never got to it. Or I never saved it. One of the two. All right, so we can now do, we did a save, now we can do an export textures. So we're going to do urinal. We are going to do Unity 5 occlusion, and I believe I made this one. This one is a configuration with, it does include emission when we use emission, but it has normal, occlusion, metallic, and albedo. So that should be good enough. We're going to do 2048 by 2048, and we just need to put it in the right place. So see, there is a urinal right there. So actually, can I open this up separately from this file system? Open a new window. Yeah, see, there is a urinal, but it looks like I also screwed. I do remember I made one. I'm pretty sure I showed it in the video. It's just I had gone so extreme with it that I just don't like it at all. So that's why, you know, I'm coming back, fixing stuff up, and hopefully this looks a lot better. All right, so let's open up the folder. That all looks good. And yeah, let's save it right there. I'm not going to do any hooking up of the material inside of Maya at this point. I think to do that properly, I'd have to create a custom shader FX material, and I don't really know what I'm doing in that area yet. I'm still learning about it. But if you happen to know the proper way of setting this stuff up, let me know, because I would love to be able to move this stuff from Maya directly into Unity without having to manually re-plug in all of my materials and my textures on the other side. So anyway, I think that's enough for this video. We're almost at the 1 hour mark, at least before editing. And I will see you next time when we tackle more of the bathroom. And hopefully what I would like to do in the next several videos is have a full bathroom, get it into Unity, and get the reflection probes in there, get the light probes, get everything in there that we need to, set up all the stuff so that we actually have part of this environment complete. Because I'm really getting tired of what we have currently in that room. So until next time, so long and goodbye.